Yo, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the second race of EFL. I'm your owner and commentator of the night, Eric Salama. And it's round 2. A little bit spoiler alert, round 1 was won by Alfonso Gomez, who's driving in Mercedes. In Constructors, Red Bull is leading the championship. As will you forgive me for a few seconds as I'm opening my YouTube channel and I will set a stream to rest of the sites so that people will find it. So one moment guys, I'm opening my YouTube channel and we have already a few viewers, so welcome aboard to follow EFL Season 1 Round 2 of EFL. And as always, traditionally, as Toxic Tomato has left. Okay, the voices are good. One moment, I'm putting the voices off. Don't worry, you're not gonna hear my voice repeatedly. And Toxic Tomato, aka Cameron Young, has left, but as we know, one moment, is it? Yeah, I'm online. There we go. It's always the first few minutes what are the most painful because I have to set the links. But we have 16 drivers here today. In first race we had 18 drivers, I believe. So I have to actually log into my EFL Twitter account. This is why I always spam in Twitter that does somebody want to commentate with me, because he would commentate while I'm showing the streams. And because my internet decides to be slow, because it knows I'm in a bit of a hurry, it's and then when I'm in a hurry I make typos, and when I make typos everything goes wrong. And I'm just gonna hide UE and enable all the telemetry and lab data, and we're gonna just put the stream right here. There we go. And thank you Alfonso Gomez for doing the work for me. I appreciate it, man. So there we go. New Zealand Cam is starting his lap with hard tires actually. So let's put that also so people will know what tires people are on. And when you feel like it, put some questions down below to the question box. I will answer them happily if you have them. But now we're following New Zealand Cam's lap around Bahrain. New Zealand Cam, who finished P2 in Red Bull in Australia after qualifying P11 in monstrous heavy rain conditions. Let's see, is he gonna perform the way he did in Australia? And he just did the corner 4, corner 5. We have a new comment saying, Catname Mindy saying hello, good evening Catname Mindy. As I'm opening once again Wikipedia, so I will know what part of the track people are at. Because I'm really bad with corner names and stuff like that, so yeah, so now I can say smartly that New Zealand Cam is coming towards corners 11 and 12. It's the right hander what to do flat out, and sector 2 time is 107.2. And there's yellows in sector 2, but nothing has happened basically. As Toxic Tomato has joined back to the session, as it is in French only. So now he's coming towards the last corners, corner 15, as X Games NL sets a 128.8. New Zealand Cam loses 4 tenths to that lap time, so very impressive from New Zealand Cam. We'll see who's closest one to finish a lap. I believe it's gonna be... It's actually gonna be James Killer, so we'll see what he's gonna do. He's gonna do a 131.3, and where is Uncle Lance? He goes P3 with a 129.3, and PMP... I'm just gonna call him PMP. So PMP is coming towards the line, and he does a 130 point flat, moves into P4 position. And Apple in his out lap. Hunter is starting his lap. Alfonso Gomez is also starting his lap. But Hatsa, the other Finnish driver, besides Napoli and Hamza, is coming up to the line. He's one out of VRS, and he sets a 138.1. Probably made a mistake in his lap. Toxic has once again left from the session for some reason, for some connection issues. As I'm trying to speculate who is closest to finish a lap. It's very painful when you don't know who's about to finish a lap. So I think it's James Killer. He's improving by 46,000. So he probably made a mistake in the last section of the track, because I believe with James Killer's experience, he can easily make 128 with the hard tires. And the cat name as X Games NL sets a 128.2, so he makes a better P1 time for himself, as Harter has retired from the session. Made a mistake. Unfortunately, we can't see where he made it, but all we know that he is out of this session. As now James Killer is coming towards the line, and he sets a 130.1, which is a solid lap time. Doesn't move his position, but he betters his time, as Alfonso goes P2 with 128.6. Very impressive from Alfonso, who drives with hard tires. As we have PMP, so let's try to see where Toxic Tomato is. So let's follow Body Dweller, who's previous owner of the EPL League. I was about to say previous owner of EFL, but he can't be, because the owner of EFL is me, Eric Salama. So that's something. As he's hit the wall, but luckily he hasn't lost his front wing. As New Zealand Cam moves himself to P3 position. We'll see what Napla does. Napla is just doing the sector 1. I believe it was 28.4. As Cameron Young, aka Toxic Tomato, has joined back to the session. But Napla is coming towards now to the corners, I believe, to the corners of 9 and 10. As he cuts it a little bit, but I'm not sure is that invalidation or not, but you never know. As F1 Baza goes P9 with 130.6 at the moment with his McLaren car. As Napla sector 2 time is 107.1, so he's pretty tight with New Zealand Cam and Samuel Arikan, so he will be fighting for that P3, P4 at the moment, if nothing else happens. And now he's coming towards the final corners. We'll see what lap time he's gonna do, as there's still 10 minutes remaining in the session. As he does a 129.2, which moves into P3 position, so very good job. Only 9/10 from Alfonso's time, and for Napla that is very, very good. He qualified P3 also in Australia, so he'll be one to watch this evening. There's not many people on the track. It's a very, very interesting strategies people are running. People are doing the medium and hard stints. As we have 2 reviewers at the moment, so welcome to follow EFL stream. I'm your owner and commentator of the night, Eric Salama. And there's yellows in sector 3. If you're just tuning in, don't adjust your TV sets, as there's a Racing Point who spun, and I believe it's Viatisa Pale LA, because Toxic Tomato is in the pits. Scatnam Indy is coming towards the last corners, and we'll see what lap time he's going to do. He said 3 months without league racing, so he moves himself to P3 position, 128.1, and what on earth are you doing, my man? What on earth was that from Catname Indy? He tried to reverse back to the pits and he got disqualified, so that's P3 turns out to be P16. And it's very interesting. I never seen that happening in a league race before, but yeah, that was in my opinion very that kind of move that you don't wish to see in a league race, actually, because there's drivers behind. And but anyways, Pierre Hansen is in his lap. He finished P4 in Australia, so that was a really good lap from him also. And as now Pierre Hansen doesn't move any positions, he moves actually to P7 with lap 129.6, and there's a lot of comments coming. I'll be reading them soon when there's a breakout, or the break, so we speak, at 5 minutes. So, but we'll see what New Zealand Cam does. He goes back to the pits, and what F1 Baza does, he's improving by 3 seconds in this lap. So okay, the statistics were wrong, as James Killer has left from the session. PNP Trying Cats is in his out lap as Toxic Tomato is starting his lap, so we'll keep following his lap as I'll quickly... And we have interesting comments from Teon Pukki about private parts. Remember Teon Pukki, aka Jamie. This is a stream for kids, for adults, for all ages of people, so... you see, if you wanna read this comment, it's down in the comment box. But Toxic Tomato in his lap and Catname Indy Wadding, you did that in UPL. I did that in UPL, but I braked 2 seconds, stopped, and 2 seconds behind because that was allowed. But in my league, that's not allowed. And after what I did in UPL, it wasn't also allowed in UPL. So yeah. Oh, I thought it was Jamie. I apologize. Yeah. But Napla, it's PG, so come on. The two racing pods are actually using a slipstream from each other. I don't know is that invalidation or not, but Toxic Tomato wants wide and he spins. And Toxic Tomato, who's one of the championship favorites in my opinion, he's not performing the way he should be. He qualified P14 in Australia, finished P9, and Chappelle still P13, 6 minutes remaining. So the championship contenders, in my opinion, who should be championship contenders, are not performing in the level they should be performing. And drivers like Napla and New Zealand Cam, as Bodie moves himself to P2 with a 128.251, only 20 thousandths of X Games NL's time. So very good drives from these two reserve drivers. And Hamter moves himself to P4 with 129 flat. So very good job from Hamter, dropping Napla to P5. But yeah, we'll keep following VRT Sapel LA's lap. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. And he's now coming towards the corners 9 and 10. Maybe, in my opinion, the most hardest corners in the whole track, especially if you're not running ABS. As now he's coming towards corner 11, and 2 racing points still in the second to last places because of Catname Indy's disqualification, which demoted him from P3 to P16. Anyways, now Sapelele is doing 106.3, and I believe that is gonna challenge for top 3. Nevertheless, I don't know is it good for pole position, but it might be good for top 3, because I still think if there's a 2 tire compound difference, I don't care how fast you are, it's very hard to beat the soft tire runners in Bahrain. And he does 128.1, and I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, he beat it, the 2 tire compound guys. He's currently having pole position with hard tires, which is unbelievable from Sapelele, who did very poor job in Australia, but still managed to finish P10 nevertheless, even though he had a horrendous race. And everybody's in the pit, so in the comments you can predict your top 3 for the race and for the qualifying. So write it out if you want. And I'm not sure does Sapelele have does he have enough time to make another one, but I'm not sure that... Okay, the voice is good. I'm always testing my voice because it used to be very bad. But we have a lot of comments coming. Uploading Mincy to the wall in the first corner. And then Catname Indy just replying. But anyways, I'm gonna read the comments a little bit later on. Let's focus on qualifying in the race. 3.5 minutes remaining, and Napla is going to the pit. So everybody's in the pit, so we'll be seeing everybody's final ones. As James Killer has joined back to the session. We have 2 retirements, 14 drivers remaining in the session. So, but that's very good that James Killer is able to rejoin back to the session. 3 minutes remaining. As who is going to be the first driver to go out? I believe it's X Games NL, and X Games NL, who's actually in a lap. Budges almost missed it, but he's down by 37 thousandths. So, and he runs very wide in that corner, but I believe that the game forgives you if you go wide in corner name, what I do not remember in corner 13, and now he's doing the corner 14 and 15. Opening his DRS, and is he going to improve? Yes, he is. 128.152, and he takes pole position. Current pole position by 24 thousandths of a second from Viati Sapelele, but we have to remember Sapelele, well, he's struggling with hearts, as we have Bodhi Dweller who's left from the session. As Uncle Lance is going to the pit, so that's his qualifying over. X Games and L's qualifying is over. So there's still a lot of drivers. A lot of drivers in the pit still, so everybody's just waiting for the clutch moments, crunch moments, whatever you want to call it. F1 Baza is in his out lap, so I believe we're gonna follow F1 Baza first. He's taking the soft tires, and hopefully Bodhi Dweller is able to return back to the session. He still has a little bit of time. As now he's rejoined back to the session. That's a very good job. And F1 Baza is starting his lap in Bahrain, so we'll see is he going to have any traffic or not. There's 2 cars ahead of him, but hopefully they won't affect his lap time. Well, at least the Red Bull is waving a little bit in a straight line. Hopefully he's watching behind him, because we have a rule in EFL: if you hold somebody up in qualifying, you're going to receive a 20-second time penalty. Oh my god, that was New Zealand Cam, and probably very frustrated F1 Baza for that. That's very unfortunate, but we'll see what lap time he's gonna do. He just did corner 9 and 10, and he messed it up completely, but we'll see if he's gonna be able to improve his time. New Zealand Cam wasn't on his flying lap, so yeah, but we'll see what the stewards gonna say after the race. And he's still improving by 6.5 tenths, so very good job from F1 Baza with his McLaren. He was very wide in corner 13, and there's yellows in sector 2 and sector 3. We still have 27 seconds remaining in the session. He's coming towards the final corners. He's gonna open his DRS very soon, and is he gonna move to top 10? He's opening his DRS, and is it gonna be a good lap time? And he moves himself. He doesn't move, it was invalidated, so he stays in P11. He stays in P11, and there's James Killer in a lap, PMP Trying Cats in a lap, Toxic Tomato starting his lap, but we'll see what X Games and L is doing. He's actually improving once again by 1/10, as Bodhi has finished his qualifying, so he finishes P3, and Sapelele is in his out lap, and he's starting. Is he starting his lap? Yes, he's starting his lap. He just made it across the line, so X Games and L, we'll see what he does. Yellows in sector 3, I don't know what it is, but X Games and L is coming towards the final corners, and what time is he going to do? He's going to do a 1:28 point flat. He improves a little bit of his previous time, and it keeps him in P1 at the moment. We'll see what Hamto does. So Hamto is in the pits, Hamto is retired, Napla is starting his lap, New Zealand Cam is in his lap, 2 tenths off, and Samuel Arikan is starting his lap, so is anybody close to finishing the lap? I believe it's Toxic Tomato, and I believe that McLaren has to get out of the way. McLaren has to get out of the way of Toxic Tomato. I have no idea what the McLaren is doing. But he's also in his flying lap, so I can't. It's allowed, because if a driver is in his flying lap, then they're both fighting. Oh my god, they're going side by side with each other. This reminds me of Kevin Magnussen and well, Fernando Alonso, and Toxic Tomato is going to do 127.5 and still takes P1, even though that big mistake of behind that McLaren. The incredible lap from Toxic Tomato, as we'll see what Napla is going to do with the soft tires. Napla is coming towards the corners 12 and 13, and New Zealand Cam has moved himself to P3 position, so very good job. And there's yellows in sector 3 once again, but nobody has spun away tire. And then Sapelele does a 127.4, just a tenth quicker than his teammate, but we don't know how much time Toxic Tomato lost behind his teammate, so we have to remember that. As Napla is coming towards the last corners of 14 and 15, we'll see what he's going to do. He's going to open the DRS of that beautiful Williams car, and Napla 185 is going to move himself to P4 position. Very good lap from him. Alfonso in P3, 2 racing points, P1 and P2, and it is Viati Sapelele who took first pole position in EFL, and the first front row lockout for the racing points. And here is your grid for the race. First front row lockout for the Racing Point drivers of Viatisa Pale Ale and Toxic Tomato. P3 Mercedes M2 Petronas, Alfonso Gomez. P4 Williams Napla 185. P5 Haas X Games NL. P6 New Zealand Cam Red Bull Racing. P7 Bodie in Toro Rosso. P8 Semi Larrican in Ferrari. P9 James Kilo in Mercedes. P10 Uncle Lance in Ferrari. Hamtaro P11. Baza P12. Pierre Hansen P13. Pierre P. Truncas P14. Hatsa P15 and only disqualification, Catney Medium P16. I'm quickly going to take the pictures and I'm going to save the video clip, so I will make a race highlight afterwards. But unbelievable, first front row lockout for Racing Point. Racing Points who qualified last places in Australia, finished P9 and P10, have now taken the front row lockout from Mercedes driver Alfonso and Williams driver Napla 185. Whew, that was incredible. And we're reading some comments. Somebody's writing, what a mess. And I had the pole, but my car had to DNF. And Napla top 3 league, 1 PS4, to P8 league 2, lol. Napla body is reserved today. And I forgot to add him to the chat, but body is a driver in EFL, at least a reserve. So IMD says top 3 are very fast. Yeah, I have to agree. Cameron Young, Viati Sapelele and Alfonso Gomez. And we have a formation lap on, as I'll be running through the grid. So P1 and P2 goes to Viati Sapelele and Toxic Tomato. P3 and P4 goes to Alfonso Gomez and Napla 185. P5 and P6 X Games NL and New Zealand Cam. P7, P8 for Bodie and Semi Larrican. P9 and P10 James Killer and Uncle Lance. P11 and P12 Hamtaro and F1 Baza 86. P13 and P14 Pierre Hansen and PMP Tron Cat, as they're ramming each other off. And P15 and P16 Hartza and Cat named Mindy. So that's your grid for today's race. First, the 2 racing pods are going side by side. They're probably showing each other right. We're gonna fight. It's gonna be like Mercedes 2014, I believe. I'm very excited for the race, actually. Who's gonna win? Is it gonna be Sapelele, Toxic Tomato, Alfonso Gomez, Napla, or stuff like that? But top 3 was very impressive in qualifying, and we have yellows in, as I'm not sure what has happened. There was yellows, and are the 2 racing points still racing, or? When I'm spectating 2 racing points, it's just showing me a lifter. So are they in a pit? Are they in a... Have they crashed with each other? As we're currently coming close to the grid with Viatisa Pelele and Toxic Tomato, but for some reason, they're probably spawned back to the pits. They have hit each other, so they're gonna have very cold tires, and that will probably give advantage to Alfonso Gomez and Napla to jump them in a track in lap 1. But these gladiators are coming back to the racing track. They're going back to the slots, and let's get ready to rumble. As we have still can't see the Racing Point drivers for some reason, but 16 drivers here today. Who's gonna win? Is it gonna be Alfonso once again, or can 2 Racing Points do anything about it? Or can Napla do anything about it in P4? There we go. And hopefully I will see the race start. As I'm gonna allow all the data. Please let me show anything else than these bulldozers. It doesn't let me show anything else except bulldozers. Nice. This game is very good, but 3, 4, 5 red lights. 3, 4, 5 red lights. And it lights out, and where we going? Looks like Sapel got a fantastic start, and Alfonso is already challenging Racing Point for turn 1. and he's trying to move to the outside line. For both racing points are using slipstream from each other, but Alfonso Gomez trying to overtake Toxic Tomato on the outside, and it looks like a very clean start with the drivers. Very close and very clean start, but two racing points have done it, and it's a massive crash, and it's a massive crash once again, and it is Sapele, New Zealand Cam, Katne Mindy, and James Killer who have crashed with each other, and it all started because of Viati Sapele. And where is Napula? Napula has also lost his front wing, but what a massive start. Massive crash in turn 1. I'm actually speechless. I'm speechless, and that promotes Toxic Tomato and Alfonso Gomez to P1 and P2. And I believe a lot of drivers have to make a pit stop after that collision, but I'm not sure what or not happened in that collision, but it gives a free space to Toxic Tomato and Alfonso Gomez to fight for the win. As I believe Napoli has lost completely his front wing. I believe so has. But I'm just speechless what happened. But now Toxic Tomato and Alfonso are going to fight for the win. They're going to fight for the Holy Grail of EFL. They're going to fight for the win. And now Hartza has overtaken Uncle Lance for P6 position. So Hartza is under pressure from the two Ferrari drivers of Uncle Lance and Semi Lavican. And they're going side by side, and there's yellows in Sector 2 and Sector 3. And it is James Killer who's retired from the session as Toxic Tomato sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Followed by Alfonso Gomez, and behind them is X Games NL with his Haas car. And Viati Sapelele has left from the session, so once again very unfortunate for Sapelele to crash out like that. And James Killer has also left from the session, as we have New Zealand Cam, Baza and Napla pitting for the new set of tyres, but very unfortunate for these drivers, but it's racing, it happens. As we have a new comment saying, no time to avoid. Yeah, I agree. As now there's very big gaps between the drivers. Well, there's going to be a good fight between P6 and I believe P11 of between Uncle Lance, Hamtara, Hartza, Hansen and Katne Mindy. But what a crash, what a crash. We've had two races in a row and two massive crashes. And now it's just kind of following each other, and two Ferraris are kind of pushing each other off, and Hamter capitalizes that. He does a 2-for-1 deal and takes two positions, but Ferrari is going back on his inside, but Hamter keeps the position and takes the P6. So very good job from Hamter overtaking two positions at once and getting away from this train. But now Toxic Tomato tries to make that 1 second gap towards Alfonso Gomez so that Alfonso won't have DRS in the next lap. But it's still 8 tenths as Pierre Hansen is trying to overtake Uncle Lance for P10. They're going side by side with each other. Who's going to give in? Who's going to have bigger cojones? And I believe it's going to be Pierre Hansen who moved out of position. This fight is going to be great to watch. Is there any other battles going on? As Toxic Tomato sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. I almost missed that. But ooh, there's going to be a massive fight. Keep it clean, guys, keep it clean. And there's going to be a massive fight between the two Finns of Hartza and Hamtara. And there's a massive train behind Hamtara. This is the battle I have to follow for a very long time. As Semi goes to drive up the inside of Hartza, and he made the job done. Hartza has lost two positions, and there's a massive crash between Hartza and Katne Mindy. And Hartza is out of the Grand Prix. Oh my goodness me, what has happened here today? Massive crash in the turn 3. And is that going to bring out the safety car or not? I believe it's not, but that was a very unfortunate crash. But when you go 4-3 wide, that is expected to happen. But there's still yellows in sector 1. And is there going to be a safety car out of ESC? Apparently not. But still, Alfonso Gomez, as we have Katne Mindy, who's also retired from the session. So he has given up. And that will promote Napula and Uncle Lance to the top 10. So now currently we have 13 drivers remaining in a session. 4 have crashed out. As Uncle Lance has also left from the session. Hunter is still fighting with Semi Lavican for P6 position. And there's still yellows in sector 2. But now I'm going to follow this fight for P1. As a Toxic Tomato Alfonso will be stopping it out for the win here today in EFL. Well, unless something ridiculous happens, but they're in the medium tires and they already have over 4-second gap to the drivers behind. And Alfonso Gomez wants to repeat that win what he did in Australia. he would be very strong in a championship fight if he did so here today. Another win for Alfonso would give him 50 points, and remembering that Toxic Tomato only finished P9 in Australia, he would have a massive lead, and his championship contenders like New Zealand Cam and PMP are basically out of the contention of the win. And Napla overtakes Uncle Lance because he goes to the pits, which promotes Napla to P9 position. But both are using very much very aggressively the EOS, so it's going to be very interesting to see who's going to come out on top in this battle, because both are saving and using it as much as Toxic Tomato locks up a lot in that corner, and he loses a little bit of time to Alfonso Gomez. As we are lap 4 out of lap 29, you can predict down to the comment box who will win the Bahrain Grand Prix. Is it going to be Toxic Tomato or Alfonso Gomez? But Alfonso Gomez uses the DRS, but is he going to be able to catch up towards Toxic Tomato? And no, he's not. No, he is not. As actually Bodhi is trying to overtake X Games NL for P3 position, and also PMP trying catch is gonna come towards this battle as Katnemidi has left from the session, and they're going side by side. Torosso and Haz are going side by side, but it looks like Bodhi has moved himself to P3 position. So incredible first race for Bodhi. He qualified P5 and is now P3 in a race. So very incredible job from Bodhi, who is P3 with his Torosso. As Hamto is also in P7, so Torosso will be getting excellent points if this keeps happening. Now PMP is joining up also to this fight. He also finished P3 in Australia, so, and once again he'll be fighting for that P3 position, because there was a massive crash in the beginning which saw 3 drivers retiring from the session. Much more drivers left from the session, but very unfortunate. And the start of Sapel LA's championship dreams have taken a big knockout, 2 races and only result 1 point out of 2 races, and I consider to him to be leading the championship after 2 rounds. So as X Games NL takes a 3-second time penalty for going wide, he's getting pressurized by PMP trying catch, but PMP is just waiting for a good time. He's just waiting these 2 drivers to fight it out and make 2-for-1 deal. As Bodhi is going actually to the pit, so he'll be doing very early undercut. So is Bodhi doing a 2-stopper? As PMP trying catch is gonna overtake X Games NL for the provisional P3 position, as PMP is with the medium tires, and I believe the X Games NL's softs are running out. As got them in there are these days. Just record your footage and send it to me, and we'll see what's gonna happen. But yeah, Alfonso Gomez 4 tenths behind of Toxic. He's not able to make the maneuver. Maybe there's going to be a tactical fight in the pits. Who's going to make the overcut? Who's going to make the undercut? But these 2 drivers will settle it for the win of this Grand Prix. But both of these drivers are excellent competitors. Toxic Tomato, driver in PSGL F2. Alfonso Gomez, driver in Spanish Simulation League races. And he's using his DRS, and he's going to make the maneuver happen in this corner. No, he's not. He is not. He's waiting for the better opportunity. And Alfonso Gomez is he's basically pushing Toxic Tomato towards these corners, and both are saving EOS for the long straight line. But I really think Alfonso might be able to make the maneuver happen in these corner sections after this next corner. He's so close, he will make it happen. It's Racing Point against Mercedes, both are having that Mercedes engine, and Alfonso is using the DRS. Toxic Tomato is defending the inside line, but very easy maneuver from Alfonso Gomez, who takes the lead of this Grand Prix in lap 7. And now X Games NL is, and we'll see, can Toxic Tomato come back at him, but X Games NL is pitting, which promotes Semi Larrikin and Hamto to P5 position. As Toxic Tomato is losing a little bit of time. He's still 5 tenths behind him, so maybe now Alfonso Gomez can lead and Toxic Tomato follow him. But PMP is in now P3, similar can P4, Hamto P5, and we'll see where X Games NL rejoins. He rejoins behind of Bodhi, and Bodhi is taking another set of soft, so he's definitely in a 2-stop strategy, but so is X Games NL. So we'll see how high these drivers can finish in the end. As there's not many battles going on in the track. The only battle what is going on is battle for the win, battle for the lead, and that's the most important battle. This is like 2014 Hamilton against Rosberg, Hamilton against Nico, where they were going side by side everywhere and still pulling away from the others. And basically both of these drivers just pushing each other from these corners, lap to lap, side to side. Oh, it's too hard to predict who's going to win this battle. And is Toxic Tomato going to dive up the inside? They're going side by side with each other. Beautiful racing between these two drivers. They're touching wheels, they're wheel banging. But Toxic Tomato couldn't make the maneuver stick. But maybe he compromised a little bit. Alfonso's exit. And now Toxic Tomato is going to the inside. They're banging wheels basically. And now Toxic Tomato retakes the lead of this Grand Prix, but Alfonso is trying to keep his line, and Toxic Tomato has to cut a little bit, and Alfonso kept the lead. But what a fight we're seeing here between these two drivers. Oh, and Alfonso defending the inside line. What a battle we see. Hopefully we don't see Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton in the turn 3. They're still going side by side. Who's going to give in? Is it going to be Alfonso? Is it going to be Toxic Tomato? And it is Toxic Tomato who has to give up. But what a battle we saw here today. What a battle we saw in lap 8. This is the history day what you have to remember. Lap 8, EFL, Bahrain, battle of the century. Not actually century, but battle of this race. At the moment, they went side by side in so many corners, wheel banging, and nothing still happening. That is true racing at its best. And unbelievable. I'm just losing my voice commentating. I have to commentate a little bit down loud. I can't commentate so loud because of neighbors and stuff, the kids' family next to me, so I really can't commentate so loud, but I'll try to do my best. But I was wondering, when do these guys pit? I know they're gonna do one stop, but can you do mediums to softs in this track, or do you have to go mediums to hards? Well, we're probably gonna see that very soon, but I think it's still very early to pit for mediums, but I think they still go 5 to 4 laps before they're gonna pit. But now once again Toxic Tomato is getting his DRS open, and he's gonna use the slipstream, and he's gonna dive up the inside of Alfonso Gomez. He's looking for the gap, and he's going for it. Is Alfonso gonna cross the line? Yes, he is, and Toxic Tomato a little bit backed off. Didn't want to put his car in that position, but this is gonna be an incredible battle for the win. Oh my goodness me. So many battles. There's not actually many battles going on. This is the only battle that I see here today. But please write, who's gonna come out on top? Is it gonna be Alfonso or Toxic Tomato? Please write. Say your opinion. Who's gonna win this Grand Prix? Because it's too hard to predict. Yeah, once again Toxic Tomato is opening his DRS, and is basically pushing. If Alfonso is gonna overtake him, no, he's staying behind him. He wants that DRS train. He wants to stay in that DRS train. This is too. And there's a ghost car of Ferrari, I believe that is Uncle Lance, who is in P12, and now Toxic Tomato is Alfonso gonna defend the inside line? No, he's not. But Toxic is not making the maneuver. He's waiting. But is Alfonso gonna get the straight DRS from the ghost car? Yes, he is. So Toxic Tomato can't make the maneuver now because Alfonso also got the DRS. But Toxic has the slipstream. But we'll see. Is he gonna be able to dive up the inside? No, he's not. He's waiting for another lap. But that ghost car or lapped car saved Alfonso Gomez's P1, because I think Toxic Tomato would have been able to overtake him if that was the case. Because he came so much closer to him, even though Alfonso had DRS open. So probably we'll see the overtake maneuver happen in the next lap, but it's too hard to predict. Like I said, it's no holds barred in EFL, as they have over 11-second gap to P3. So without safety cars, VSCs, internet connection issues, these are the two drivers who are gonna battle it for the win here today. It could have been a battle between Sepelele, Napula, James Killer, but all those drivers retired as New Zealand Cam goes to the pits. 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But I respect these drivers not going side by side everywhere. They're just using their slipstream. They're slipstreaming each other. That's very smart, because if you keep going side by side, big chances are that you cross out each other, or that the drivers behind are gonna catch, or then you're gonna run out of VRS. But Toxic Tomato has a lot more EOS than Alfonso has, but he still stays behind him. As now he's gonna get very good exit, and it's gonna be an easy maneuver for Toxic Tomato. Doesn't matter what lines Alfonso takes, he still tries to defend a little bit, goes middle, but forces him the hard way and a little bit wheel banging once again. But is Alfonso gonna be able to outbreak him? And are they gonna leave each other enough space? Are they gonna spin? No, they're not. Oh, they're spinning, and it is. Oh, Toxic Tomato is round. Toxic Tomato is round. He has spun. Toxic Tomato has spun, and I don't know what on earth happened in that maneuver, but Toxic Tomato lost a lot of time because of that. I know Toxic Tomato, we have to see what the stewards say after the race, but yeah. And a lot of drivers pitting at the moment. PMP1 catches Semilarican. They're just gonna rejoin ahead of Napola, who was 32 seconds behind, but of course he had that crash in turn 1. But I don't know what to say about that. Alfonso Gomez and Toxic Tomato, a little bit of collision. But yeah, nothing to say about that. We'll see. He's gonna be able to catch him. He's still catching him though, so maybe he can outpace him. And there's yellows in sector 2, and that is Bodie, who's run wide. Bodie has spun. He has made a massive mistake, and all the chances to podium have gone away from Bodie after that mistake. As now Semilarican is trying to capitalize the mistake Bodie Roller made, and he's trying to make the maneuver on turn 10, or I mean turn 12, as we have 12 laps remaining out of 29. As actually Toxic Tomato is catching a lot to Alfonso Gomez, and we'll see what tires is Alfonso Gomez gonna take. I mean Toxic Tomato gonna take, and he'll be taking the hard tires, which promotes Hamtower and probably Pierre Hansen to briefly to P2 and P3. And we'll see what Toxic Tomato is gonna rejoin. Is gonna join a clean tracker or not? And I think he's just gonna rejoin ahead of X Games NL, and he will have clean track ahead of him. But we don't know who's gonna win, and Bodie is gonna pit now. He's probably gonna take Hearts to the end. Yeah, he's taking the Hearts to the end, and that promotes Napola to P8 position. But I believe Napola has to make another pit stop. I can't believe he's able to do 22 laps with 24 laps, I mean, with medium tires. Hanzo is 16 seconds behind Alfonso, so when Alfonso pits, he'll rejoin probably back to P3 or P2. But Toxic Tomato is probably really furious, and it's very interesting to see his pace towards this Grand Prix. And very interesting podium universe probably if these guys finish P1 and P2, how they're gonna speculate what happened in that's in turn 1. And there's yellows in sector 1 who has spun it, and Alfonso is pitting. Yellows in sector 1, the yellow flags, and it's New Zealand Cam who has spun. And what happened to Alfonso Gomez? Why he's not moving from the pit? Okay, that was a very weird glitch, I think, from Mercedes driver. And now Hamto and Pierre Hansen have taken P1 and P2 in this race, and we'll see if Toxic Tomato rejoins. Is Toxic Tomato going to overtake Alfonso Gomez in the pit? And yes, he is! Toxic Tomato has taken the lead of this Grand Prix, provisional lead. I don't know, was that did he let Toxic Tomato to P1 because of that mistake, or did he have a 5-second stop and go? But if he let Toxic Tomato go, then I believe there's no chance for penalties. Like, if he did that, then fair play, man, you have served your penalty for that situation, and now we're gonna have a race in our hands. As Toxic Tomato leads the Grand Prix at the moment when Hamto and Pierre Hansen are gonna pit. As Toxic Tomato is gonna catch soon to Pierre Hansen, who hasn't done a pit stop, and Hamto and Pierre Hansen are still staying out. So are they gonna take softs in the end? Because if you're doing this long stint, I believe he's taking the softs, or me hard, because there's no point going to hards anymore. You're gonna, well, basically it is. If you pit now, you can go to hards, but Hunter has very good pace with his medium tires. As Toxic Tomato is taking second by second each sector time, each corner. He's catching second to Pia Hansen and Hamto, as Toxic Tomato has taken a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. And we'll see are they gonna pit? No, they're not. But Pia Hansen is pitting. So as Toxic Tomato makes a fastest lap of 1:30.1. So very impressive lap from Pia Hansen, from Toxic Tomato. And we have a new comment here today. A news cam says he might just retire. It's still points if there's still somebody can retire, and points is points, remember that. As Toxic Tomato is 7 seconds behind of Hamtaro. Behind him is Alfonso Gomez, then X Games NL, and PMP Try Catch was actually caught up to X Games NL now, and there's a semi-Larrigan in his Ferrari also fighting. So will be very interesting to see who's gonna come out on top in this battle. Very, very interesting to see. As we have still 16 laps remaining in the Grand Prix. It's kind of a... I will say he's going to be able to make the maneuver on corner 12. He's probably going to wait for the straight line, but we're going to have a massive straight line party between these drivers in lap 15. We might see Belgium 2000 between Mika Häkkinen and Michael Schumacher and Ricardo Zonta. But Mika Häkkinen overtook 2 cars in inside line of Kemmel Straight. And yeah, we'll see who's going to finish in podium in the end of these drivers. Maybe Hamter can say something also about this. If these drivers are going to fight with each other, maybe it will open a gate to Hamter to also finish in P3. But now, PMP is opening his DRS. X Games NL is trying to defend the inside line. Or is it he's leaving enough space towards PMP, and PMP moves himself to P4 position. But is X Games NL going to drive up the inside? No, he's not. And yes, it is. X Games NL has taken the P4 from X Games NL and Semi-Larrigan. And is Semi-Larrigan gonna demote X Games NL to P6 or not? He's diving up the inside, and he's gonna make the maneuver done. Yes, he is. And X Games NL has been demoted to P6. So, but he's going back. Ooh, he's coming back, but there was no space there. And in solids of 2 corners, X Games NL has been demoted by 2 places, but he's fighting back. He's not giving up. But it looks like he has to give up. But are they gonna go side by side in corner 10, corner 11? Who's gonna give up? Who has the bigger cojones? Who has the bigger cojones in this situation? It's gonna be American, or is it gonna be X Games NL? And it looks like they're still going side by side. And yes, X Games NL was able to retake that position. Ooh, a little bit switch backing from Semi-Larrigan. They're still going side by side with each other. But how is the corner gonna go? And X Games NL was able to take the position back from Semi-Larrigan. So beautiful, beautiful fight right there from the 2 drivers. But they're still going side by side. Unbelievable. This is the very good racing between these 2 drivers. As we have 14 laps remaining in the Grand Prix. Hamtaro still leading from Toxic Tomato, but Hamtaro has not made that pit stop. So he's probably going to go to soft tires in the end. These 2 drivers are still fighting with each other. Oh my goodness me. They're still fighting with each other. And Semi-Larrigan has taken the position from X Games NL, and he demotes him to P6. So that was a very good battle. That was a very, very good battle. As lap 16 out of 29. Alfonso Gomez still 1.6 seconds behind with Toxic Tomato, and X Games NL is coming back, but Semi-Larrigan is having none of it, and he's just forcing X Games NL down to the pit, down behind him. I apologize. I actually have to find my phone, so. Puhelinta. Missä mun puhelin? Mom taas speaking Finnish. I have to find my phone actually, so. Where's my phone actually? I lost my phone. Don't laugh at me, guys. It's very important. I'm very panicking when I don't have my phone, but X Games and LS Semi-Larrigan are still going. They're still following each other very closely. But where on earth did I put my phone? Oh my god. Freaking hell. Well, if I can't find it, I can't find it. That's the problem. I used it like 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, and now I can't find it. You know that feeling when you just can't find your phone, bloody phone. But now X Games NL is using the DRS, and Hamto has been demoted to P2, and hopefully he's not gonna fight him too much. And Hamto has spun. What on earth did you do, Hamto? Why did you fight it? Why did you fight it? You have 16 lap old mediums and you lost so much time doing that. Unbelievable. I'm gonna actually call myself. I have two phones. I have my work phone and then I have my regular phone, and I'm gonna call myself because I'm not gonna continue the commentating if I don't find my phone. 12 laps remaining in the Grand Prix, so on so on. I will quickly take my what? Okay, I found it. It was behind my laptop. It was behind my ass, actually. So, as Hamto is now losing his car, so he's probably gonna make a pit stop now. So, but hey guys, I found my phone. That's the main thing. But is Hamto gonna pit for a new set of tires, or he's still gonna stay out? I wanna see how much time did he lose last lap. He lost so much time. He lost 6.6 seconds because of that. And he should have just let him go, but it's racing sometimes, and sometimes these things happen. So we still have and Semi-Larrick and X Games NL still continuing the battle, as X Games NL has retired from the session. So what on earth happened to him? I quickly want to check. And VSC has come out. VSC has come out. Not the safety car, but VSC. Is anybody going to make a pit stop or not? And that is very unfortunate, as we have Bodhi who's making a pit stop. So very smart maneuver from Bodhi to pit at the moment, as X Games NL is fiercely leaving from the session, as I believe Bodhi is gonna take the soft tires. I want to see what happened to X Games NL. Did he just crash out, or probably some collision with Semi-Larrick, as DRS is enabled, VSC is off, and Toxic Tomato, who has over 4.4 second lead to Alfonso Gomez. But we have to remember that 3-second time penalty, so he has to push so much if he wants to win the Grand Prix. As Hamtaro is in a clutch of PMP trying catch, as New Zealand Cam is being lapped at the moment, who's behind of Hamtaro. And are we gonna see Hamtaro pitting now or not? As we see Hamtaro is pitting, is very cautious in the pit lane, as he takes a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. We'll see is he gonna serve it in the pits or not, but in a Bahrain it's very difficult always to get these things right, and we'll see what tires Hamtaro is gonna take, as he will be taking the soft tires. Still 8 tenths between PMP Tran Catch and Semi-Larrick, and we'll see where Hamtaro is gonna rejoin. And I believe Hamtaro will be rejoining just ahead of his mother team of Pierre Hansen, or is he? Yes, he does. He has a clean track out of him, but over 20 seconds to P4 and P3. But what a Grand Prix we had here today. We had 6 drivers crashing out, and then 2 just rage quitting. So it's one Australia once again. So there's never a boring race in EFL, as we still have over 10 laps remaining in a Grand Prix. At the moment, if you have to choose, who is your driver of the day? Write to the comments down below. It doesn't have to be anybody from P1, P2 or P3. Just write your driver of the day if you want to. As now New Zealand Cam has been promoted to P10 position, so he'll be getting 1 point at the moment. If nothing else is happening, there's still a fight between Arikan and PMP. So and very interesting to see how Hamtaro is going to be able to observe with those soft tires. But Semi-Larrick and PMP, I believe this battle is going to go down to the last lap. As Semi-Larrick is opening his DRS, and we'll see what he's able to do. He's using the slipstream. PMP is defending the inside line and forcing Semi-American around the outside. It's Williams against Ferrari. They go side by side. We saw Semi-American doing so many times here today, side by side, with everybody almost in the track. But PMP is not giving up. He is staying ahead of Semi-American. But we'll see, is Semi-American going to dive up the inside or not? He's tapping a little bit the rear tire of PMP, but luckily nobody crashed there. But beautiful racing between these two, and it's like a motto here today that wherever there's Semi-American, there is action, there is side by side, there is beauty, drama. It's like a worst Hollywood film, action, drama. I know how they say it in Hollywood, but still, Hamilton is catching up a little bit to these drivers, but he is over 20 seconds behind of P4 and P3, but he'll be getting excellent points if he's able to make over 5-second gap to Pierre Hansen. And this battle is gonna go probably to the last laps. There's still 9 laps remaining in the Grand Prix, as Toxic Tomato already has over 4-second gap to Alfonso Gomez and F1 Baza, who's taken a 3-second top penalty for multiple corner cutting. As Toxic Tomato makes the fastest lap of 138 point flat, so he is flying in this track. This is the track of Racing Point. This is the track of Toxic Tomato. What it could have been if Fiat is a Pale Ale and Toxic Tomato would have been fighting for P1 with Alfonso Gomez, but now Alfonso Gomez is 4.3 seconds behind of Toxic Tomato, and Semi-American is making the maneuver on P3 on PMP trying catch, and is he going to be able to make the maneuver stick? Yes, he is. He is. He's provisionally in P3, but PMP is going to use that slipstream. He's going to go to the inside line, but Semi-American is defending that inside line and is forcing that Williams car around the outside, and is going to be able to make the maneuver happen. Oh, they're going side by side. They're wheel banging actually with each other. They're going side by side everywhere, a little bit wheel banging with each other, but oh, beautiful maneuver from PMP. And we've had so many highlights here today. Bahrain is a track for fighting. It's a track for side by sides. And they're gonna go side by side in corner 10, corner 9. Oh, but is Semi-American gonna dive up the inside? No, he's not. He's waiting for the better opportunity, but he is getting a better exit than PMP. So this is a fight against pride, fight against P3, fight against that final champagne spot in the podium. As Semi-American is re-overtaking PMP for P3. Very hard to commentate this battle, and they're still going side by side towards corner 13 and 14. Unbelievable racing, and it is off, and Semi-American has crashed. Semi-American has crashed, and he's hit the wall a little bit too much. They try to bite too much of a cake, too much piece of a cake, and it's a... that's... Oh my goodness me. I hope I will get race footage from that, but Semi-American can be very lucky not to retire from that incident. As yeah, he's just lost his whole front wing and he's gonna make a pit stop. Yes, he is. Hopefully he's gonna continue to the end. But I'm not sure whose fault that is. I have to really see the race footage and everything after the race, as that's gonna promote Hamto to P4 position. As Semi-American changing his front wing, and now it's 18 seconds in front for Hamto, so I don't think he's going to be able to make it happen unless something critical happens, as that will promote Napla to P6 position. Napla is... I have to respect Napla, even though there's a massive crash in turn 1 in the first lap. He's last place, was over 40 seconds behind everybody else. He still continued, and now he's getting reward from it, and he's finishing P6. Maybe P5 if he can catch Pierre Hansen. Semi-American takes a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, but he'll still be getting a good amount of points, as I'm currently losing my voice. As we still have 7 laps remaining in the Grand Prix. PMP is over 15 seconds behind of Alfonso and Toxic Tomato. Still 6 laps left in this Grand Prix. Yeah, like I said, yeah, ask some questions, write to me something, ask about next races, about the EFL, if you want to join in, DM me in PSN or stuff like that. And we have a new comment saying, news and I can't be asked. Well, you're getting 1 point, so keep it up, keep it up. As F1 Baza is P9, Bode is P8, Semi-Larkin P7 and Napla P6 as Alfonso Gomez has retired! Alfonso Gomez has retired from the session! What on earth happened to Alfonso, the championship leader? What on earth happened to him? Did he make a mistake? Unbelievable scenes here today. Where did Alfonso... And he's crashed out! He's made a simple mistake! And that will promote Hamtaro to P3 position, so PMP and Hamtaro will take P2 and P3. So unbelievable scenes. Hamtaro is probably going to be my driver of the day because of his... first he spun with Toxic Tomato and then he got that 5-second time penalty from corner cutting, speeding in the pit lane, and now he's in P3. But unbelievable scenes as Hamtaro is currently in P3 position as Alfonso furiously is leaving, and it's going to be a massive amount of points, but Hamtaro is going to lose in a championship to Toxic Tomato, and they're going to be equal in a championship as both did the fastest lap in the first round. But he has to be very frustrated, very frustrated, and I hope I'm going to get his choice of words to the interview. Oh, he's left from the session, so I can't invite him to the session, but oh my goodness me, that was very unfortunate for Alfonso Gomez, our championship leader, being P2 for so long and then messing it up just like that. As New Zealand Cam gets a 3-second time penalty. Everybody moves up one position, so Hamtaro is now in P3 and Apple is in P5, still 4.9 seconds behind of Pia Hansen, so he has very good chance of catching him. Sami Larkin in P6 and Bode in P7, but what a race we've had here today, ladies and gentlemen. That was very unfortunate for Alfonso Gomez, and we had so many retirements here today, from Viatisa Pelele to James Giller to Hartzer to Katne Midi to X Games NL to basically Uncle Lads and now Alfonso Gomez, so only 9 drivers remaining in the session. Unbelievable scenes here today. And I have to give it to Hamtaro. He's not been there a lot, but he is getting the job done. He's driving very lonely in P3. But Hamtaro, who of course finished P2 in a practice race in Abu Dhabi, is gonna get his first podium if he just drives it to the end in EFL. So as Toxic Tomato makes another pit stop, so he is gonna change to soft tires and then making another fastest lap, making sure he gets the maximum amount of points from this race. We'll see where your PMP is, and actually it might be close between PMP and... No, it's actually not. A very good calculative maneuver from... Oh wait, yeah, he has still a clean track over here, and that is a race win for Toxic Tomato if nothing happens. As Hamtaro is 17 seconds behind of PMP, and then Pia Hansen is 6.8 seconds behind of Hamtaro. At the moment I'm gonna check, does Hamtaro or Pia Hansen have any penalties? Warning, but Hamtaro can't cut any more corners or else he's gonna get a 3-second time penalty, and Hansen, he has a penalty, so it's gonna make a job for Hamtaro a little bit easier, but it means that Hamtaro is gonna have that 5-second penalty. But I don't know in this game, does the game give you 10 seconds if you don't serve it, or is it still 5 seconds? As now PMP is 1.9 seconds behind, but of course Toxic Tomato is going to easily make the gap to 10 seconds in shortage of laps. But this is what we saw. People were leaving from the stream, but immediately when Alfonso crashed, people joined back. And that's the crown jewel of Formula 1, as Toxic Tomato takes another time penalty, so that's now 6 seconds for Toxic Tomato, but I think the advantage of the tires is so big that it doesn't matter how many penalties he's gonna take. He can take 15 seconds and still not lose this race. But you never know, there's only 3 laps remaining. If PMP can be only less than 6 seconds behind of Toxic Tomato, he's gonna take his first win in this Grand Prix. And those soft tires, of course, are gonna run out, but of course Toxic Tomato already has that 4-second gap towards PMP. But very good race from the Williams driver here today. So Williams will be getting P2 and P5. So from Australia, double DNF for Williams, now P2 and P5. So they will be getting 28 points in the championship. Sami Larkin says the fastest lap of 129.6. So he's catching towards Napula. So this will be a very epic fight to watch. And we still have 3 laps remaining in the Grand Prix. As I wanna see now what happened. What happened to Alfonso Gomez? He's writing to me in the comments. And we'll probably find it out a little bit later on. As we still have 2.5 laps remaining in the Grand Prix, or 3 laps remaining. And actually Pierre Hansen a little bit catching towards Hamto at the moment, but I believe because he has that time penalty, Hamto can, but Hamto has also 5 seconds, so he still have a chance. He still has a chance. As Toxic Tomato sets the new fastest lap of 1:28.3, so very impressive lap from Toxic Tomato. So who already has made a gap to 6.8 seconds towards PMP trying catch. As 2 laps remaining in the Grand Prix. Is Red Bull gonna take the podium, or is it gonna be Toro Rosso of Hamtoa? As I believe now it will change between hards and softs in the end. That which is gonna be faster. Because I think this is the only battle that is gonna go on in this track. Well, Semi Larkin is catching Napola for P5, but we don't know. Napola has 10 lap old soft mediums, and Semi Larkin has 5 lap old softs, and the gap is 2 seconds. The gap is staying the same between Pierre Hansen and Hamtoa, and okay, we're taking 5 seconds away from Hamtoa, that's 2.7, but then we had 3 seconds to Pierre Hansen, and that's 5.7, so he's still secure for the P3 position. And Bodie takes a 3-second up penalty once again for track extending. But oh my, what a race, what a race. I was quickly gonna check. Still, PMP, does he have any penalties? He doesn't even have, he has 1 warning. Hamto has 5-second time penalty and 2 warnings. Hansen has that 1 penalty and 1 warning. Now Napola has 2 warnings. Semilarican has, he has 6 seconds for the penalty, so even though if he overtakes Napola, he'll still finish behind him. As Napola is only 1.7 seconds behind of Pierre Hansen. So if he can overtake Pierre Hansen, he might be able to catch to Hamtoa. That is possibility. So we might still have a 3-horse race. Who's gonna finish in P3, or 2-horse race between the 2 pins? Because you have to remember Pierre Hansen has that time penalty. We're just gonna demote him to I believe P5. As PMP trying catch is 8.2 seconds behind of Toxic Tomato now, so even if Toxic Tomato takes 2 penalties or 1 penalty, he still is gonna win the race. As now bit gap between Napola and Pierre Hansen is going down to 1.3 seconds, but then Semilarican is only 2.1 seconds behind of Napola also, as Toxic Tomato will be starting his last lap of the Grand Prix very shortly. But he can't take, I believe he can't take another penalty. And there's yellows in sector 3 and who has spun it. And it is New Zealand Cam who spun it, but currently in P9. He probably wanted to get it lapped or something, but now is the last lap starting for Toxic Tomato, who's drove a brilliant race ever since he overtook Alfonso in the pits. Nothing has to say. He should have taken the pole position in the qualifying, but that one McLaren stopped it from happening. But it doesn't matter. He's only 10 corners away from his first win in EFL. What a brilliant job from the Racing Point driver. And now Napola is only 1.1 seconds behind of Pierre Hansen. Is it going to be enough, or is it going to be hasta la vista baby, like the Terminator told you? Because it's actually really close for Napola to finish in the podium in the end, but if he only didn't have that first lap crash, it would have been very good. But anyways, Toxic Tomato is coming towards the last corners. He's coming towards corner 13, and Toxic Tomato is gonna come towards corner 14 and 15 very shortly. And only few corners is separating him from the Holy Grail of EFL for the first race win in EFL. Toxic Tomato has done everything right today. From the disastrous race in Australia, where he finished P10. He's gonna come to first final corner, P15, and nothing is gonna take the win away from Toxic Tomato. Toxic Tomato, you are a race winner. Congratulations, you took your first win in the EFL. You are a race winner. Brilliant job. As PMP will finish in P2. And now Napula and Pierre Hansen are gonna fight, and Hamtova. Napula gets a 3-second time penalty for going wide, and PMP finished P2. Hamtova finished in P3. He's gonna finish in P3, but oh, now Pierre Hansen and Napula has spun it. Napula has spun it, and that's gonna demote Napula to P6 position, but also as Hamtova. He's gonna take his first podium in EFL. Good job, Napula. I mean, good job, Hamtova. I'm sorry, good job, Hamtova. I mean, as Hansen is gonna finish in P4, Napula is gonna finish in P5, but I don't know, maybe Pierre Hansen should have left a little bit more space to Napula, but he's still gonna finish P5. Nevertheless, Sami Laviken in P6. I agree, many people would have got the podium, but what a race for the top three of Toxic Tomato, PMP, Trying Cats, and Hamtova. He's my draw of the day, I don't care. Hamtova is my draw of the day. He doesn't get many podiums in leagues, but when he does it, it's a race to remember. What a race it was, and what a brilliant win for Toxic Tomato. And we're still waiting for F1 Baza to finish it from the line, and we're gonna hear podium interviews very shortly. Very shortly. What an unbelievable race we had here today, as we're gonna just watch the podium celebrations. As we have Toxic Tomato winning from PMP Trying Cats and from Hamtova. Toxic Tomato takes his first win in EFL. As he's going to be very happy chappy from that result. Spraying champagne with PMP, and that was the race to remember. And stick around for the podium interviews, and I believe they're going to be very interesting. Never to say. I believe that is Napula has left from the session. Hopefully he's saved this footage and he's gonna send it to me, as that's our top 3. Toxic Tomato, PMP Trying Cats, Hamtova, Pierre Hansen, Napula, CG87 aka Bodin P6, Sami Laviken P7, Evan Baza P8, Nuzan P9, Uncle Lance P10, and the retirements of Gomez, XM Games NL, Catname Mindy Hartza, James Killer, and Viatisha Pelele. As I'm gonna quickly. There we go, and we're gonna invite the top 3 to the podium. So bear with me once, as I'm gonna invite the top 3 towards the podium. What a race we had. What a race we had. It's gonna take a while, 30 seconds me to invite them. There we go, now it's Toxic Tomato and then PMP. And then Hamtova. But yeah, now we're waiting for the podium interviews, so don't leave the session and don't leave the stream. We're gonna hear how these 3 gladiators are gonna think of this Grand Prix, what we're witness here today. Hopefully we're gonna get someone in the podium interviews. I've sent all to them invites, but we just have to wait. It always takes like a minute or 2 before they arrive. As we have Hamtova who's joined us to the podium interviews, we're still gonna wait for Toxic Tomato and PMP Trying Cats. Hopefully we'll get them to the podium interviews. As I'm gonna quickly invite hetki. One moment. We're gonna, as I'm speaking Finnish currently with Hamza, saying to him that wait for another drivers, as we have PMP Trying Cats and Toxic Tomato joining to the podium, so thank God. So we'll start with Toxic Tomato. Do you have your voiceovering on?
Probably.
Can you check, please?
Yes. Yes, Eric, we're good to go.
Okay, Toxic Tomato, congratulations for your first win in EFL. Unfortunately, in qualifying, got stuck behind a McLaren who was also in a flying lap, but tell us a little bit about the race and your fight against Alfonso towards the race, and of course, that turn 1 incident with Chapelle.
Well, I was a bit worried because obviously, as we all know, Lucas, aka Chapelele, the ultimate bottler, so I was a bit worried starting behind him, and then he absolutely bottled it into turn 1. But other than that, I wasn't really worried about him. Alfonso Gomez kept up the pace quite well. I was quite surprised, but I don't really know what happened in the end. It seemed as if he was struggling on his tyres, even though he went a bit deeper into the race. And it looked like his rears were over here, and he just ended up spinning.
He ended up spinning and he crashed out. He won the first race in Australia, but that means you guys will be equal on points. Actually, you'll be leading the championship by 1 point because you finished P10. But can you say what happened between you and Alfonso when you guys touched and you spun?
If I'm going to be completely honest, I don't really know. I think I went on the inside and I thought I had the move done. So I sort of tried squeezing him out, but I guess he was still there, so I maybe partially to blame for myself. Maybe just a racing incident, I don't know, but I think maybe I scored him a bit too much.
Okay, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, championship leader. And PMP Trying Cats, congratulations once again. P3 in Australia, P2 in Bahrain. Tell us about the race you had.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. A few wee battles, and yeah, it was quite an easy race, to be honest.
What is it? Not have anything to say about the qualifying? About anything else? About the fights you had? All right.
No, not really.
Okay, Hamtaro, Finnish or English language?
Suomeksi käy ihan
well, I'm gonna talk a little bit Finnish, guys, and then I'm gonna translate it to English. Eli mie puhun suomeksi ja sit mie käännän sen englanniksi katsojille. Hamtaro, eka podiumi EFL:ssä, miltä nyt tuntuu? First podium in EFL, how you feeling?
No, aika yllättynyt, kuitenkin lähtöruutu oli 11, mistä läksi, että en tiedä mitä siellä eessä on tapahtunut, että ei oikein mitään käsitystä, että pienko harmittava kontakti sattui siinä, en muista kenen kanssa.
Toi johtaja kanssa.
Joo.
Kuka voitti kisan?
Joo, se jäi vähän harmittamaan.
Hunter is saying that he's very happy to finish P3 and he doesn't know what happened in the front between the front runners, but he happily takes the P3. Kuitenkin uskot siihen, että sä pystyt jatkamaan täällä samalla tasolla? 6. sija Australiassa ja 3. sija Bahrainissa, hyvät pisteet ja saatat noussa nyt 4. sijalle mestaruustaistelussa 2 kisan jälkeen.
No kyllähän tässä lupaava kehityskäyrä on, että saa vaan pieniä virheitä tuossa sattuu tosi paljon, kun meni tuo Ersin kanssa niin paljon säätäessä tuossa, mutta kai sitä mennessä näkee.
Mennessä näkee, niin. And I asked him that first race P6, now P3, and he will probably move P4 in the championship. How he's gonna feel? He said that races go, and it's shaking and baking basically always, and he happily takes the positions because everybody crashes out. But now, before we're ending off, as tradition in EFL, we're gonna hear winner drivers national anthem and winner constructors national anthem. So please take your hats off for the national anthem of Wales and God Save the Queen of England. So. Congratulations for the winner drivers, National Anthem of Wales and Constructors Championship, National Anthem of God Save the Queen. And congratulations for our new championship leader, Toxic Tomato. And congrats for all the top 3, all the viewers who watched here today. Good night, good morning, good day, wherever you are in the world. This was EFL Race 2. Next week we'll be heading to China for round 3. So we'll see you right there. So ciao ciao, everybody. And